Menstruation information should be given to guys as well. I think all schools and parents needs to teach their sons about periods. If we look at periods portrayed in media, it just like a disease, and not to forget about it's that time of the month jokes. I am not saying that I don't laugh at these jokes, but considering women should not talk about this natural phenomena of their bodies baffles me. Men are labeled unsympathetic by not understanding women's pain, but women need to be open about this topic as well and trust their partners. As far as I observed, ladies don't discuss about it because of embarrassment. I guess it's high time to break this. When I was in year 6, English guy here, all the girls were taken out to be taught about periods. We were taught in a separate lesson. So sex ed. This isn't unpopular. I remember asking my wife what size vagina she was, since I couldn't figure out between regular and heavy pads. Yes, but I also think guy stuff should be mentioned to women too. Had no idea what boners were until my first relationship, like geez. After realizing the incredible pain and the process involved in menstruation, I'm honestly surprised that females aren't the main perpetrators of murder. If I was at work, having crippling cramps while I casually bleed out tissue, again, for the 117th month in a row, and Jeff from HR stopped to talk to me about not RSVPing yet to Sharon's retirement party, I'd rip his fucking face on and feed it to him with a slice of retirement cake. Seriously, to all the women reading this post, thank you for not killing people when you probably should. It's already gets taught in schools to everyone. For me it was 7th grade. I had to learn about both the male and female body. I've also had to explain many things to my friends about the female reproductive system. Did you know that women do not have penises? But considering women should not talk about this natural phenomena of their bodies baffles me. Having your period is like taking a shit. It shouldn't be embarrassing, you shouldn't be judged for it, and everyone should know how it works. However, much like taking a shit, I don't really want or need to hear about it all the time. Mostly because I've been educated since primary school on how it happens and its common, very unpleasant side effects, and I don't need any more listen here you ignorant male basic sex ed shit rammed down my throat now that I'm an adult. No stigma, but I'm not gonna cheerlead for your period either. Why on earth does it seem that if women don't openly discuss our bodily fluids with people who really don't want to hear about it, we must be embarrassed about it? I talk about my periods to people who I can trust, like my husband and close friends. Not any old Joe face with tears of joy. Menstruation should be a part of reproductive education/biology for boys and girls though. I agree. I'm a woman who literally cannot her embarrassed, and I've had so many problems with uneducated boyfriends around my period. I've had to educate all of these boyfriends, otherwise I'd suffer and so would they. I've had boyfriends legitimately think that all women are invalids on their periods who can't go to work or school and must be waited on hand and foot. That's not true for most women. I've had one boyfriends legitimately think that when I'm on my period I medically need chocolate. I don't like chocolate. I've had boyfriends basically treat me like a baby when I'm on my period because they don't know any better. I have menorrhagia. So I bleed extremely heavily and can be in a hell of a lot of pain. So I have to tell them we need to put a towel down when I sleep over. I have to explain that periods are different for all women. It just helps. Some women need a lot of support. Some women like me don't need anything but understanding and an old towel. Education can help with a lot of misunderstandings, such as holding it in, needing to change pads, leaks, iron loss. I say this because if I have to deal with one more boyfriend forcing chocolate on me, I'll lose it. I remember when I was in 5th grade, I wrote in a question for the nurse to answer. She was teaching our sex ed course. I still remember the look on her face, so unsure what to say. I asked her why AIDS was here. She told my class it was because God wanted it to be here. I thought about that answer a lot. God wanted me to be hurt? He wanted me dead? I wouldn't come out until over decades since that moment. Sex education, as a whole, needs to be changed drastically. Everyone needs to know how to stay healthy. Boys need to learn about girls and girls need to learn about boys, and we need to learn about intersex people, etc. So much is missing. I can agree to this. Especially after having a boyfriend, grown-ass adult man, that thought we can control when the period starts and how much blood comes out. It was a fight every month. Didn't last long lol. I remember sex ed spending a lot of time talking about dicks, and when it came around to the female organs, they literally only talked about pregnancy and how abortion is bad and sex makes you like a used band-aid. Literally nothing useful for anyone other than a fucking trad wife. When my kids were rather small, I already tend to say I was on my period. Just because most of the time I didn't feel too good, and because, while normally being rather easygoing, during my period I could become angry quicker. Not too long ago I told a friend about me telling and she was appalled by it. That's not something to discuss ever. Afterwards I asked son how he felt about being told about my period. His reaction, "Nah, it's normal and now I know what I can expect." Yes, 1,000 times yes. We had each gender of my 4th grade class go to separate classrooms for the 2 separate puberty videos. If they're gonna prepare us for the inevitable, I'd at least like them to not give us an outdated video that's from the 90s and show us it in the fucking 2010s. I'm about to be 16 and just a few months ago realized that cramps aren't supposed to make you pass out. Such useless damn videos. Were you in school in the south of the US? Then yes, you may not have learned every aspect of sexuality. In normal schools, including in the US, that is in fact taught. Is it not taught in biology? I go to a girls' school, but my teacher says when she taught in a mixed school before she had to teach about sexual intercourse and menstruation under reproduction in humans, so I guess guys who chose biology would know. And we also had sex ed, but that was more focused and relationship building etc., but I believe boys and girls were not separated for that based on my friends who go to mixed schools.